Want a soar? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos. It's because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more and you need a push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and learn how to use the 2% rule to become rich. Enjoy! Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Take action.
The first thing most people do after they make a decision is they plan, they strategize, they tinker, they think, and it's the worst thing you can do. Here's why. You make a bold decision. You say, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to go off and do this crazy, amazing thing. And then you go home and you think of all the ways that it can happen, and you start planning and strategizing. It's amazing. You feel great. And then you wake up tomorrow and you're a different person. You wake up tomorrow a different person, and that person says, you can't do that. You can't follow through on that. Who are you to take on that big idea? And then nothing happens. Nothing happens. And so the solution after you get an immediate idea is action. Don't worry about planning. Even imperfect action, just action. Because you need to build it into your nervous system that you're the kind of person who follows through. Because you need to make some commitment so that by the time you wake up tomorrow, you've committed to following through. That's the biggest problem. I call it the 2% difference. So what most people will do is they'll plan to 100%. You get an idea, you gotta plan, you gotta go home, you gotta plan. You gotta plan all the way to the end. And it's amazing, and you think about it, it's such a great place to live in as entrepreneurs, as perfectionists, as over planners. We love living in that world. Don't worry about planning to 100%. Instead, find the 2% difference. What can you do right now to get 2% of the way? If you don't get 2% of the way immediately through action, you will never get to 100% of the way. So an example, I'm sitting here, standing here, walking here on the streets of San Francisco. I'm in the middle of my 90-day tour across 23 cities. This thing started because I committed to my wife that I was going to take her to every city in North America with 1 million plus people. It was a warm summer day, and I said, Nina, we're going to go to every city in North America with 1 million plus people. It was a Wednesday afternoon. So what was the first step? It's not going home and planning to see how many cities are there. I didn't even know how many cities are there. No idea. It's not planning about how is Nina gonna leave her job because she had a full-time job. It's not planning about how long it's gonna take. None of that. Don't go home and start researching that. It's the wrong first step. The first step is, what's the one city that I can hit immediately? It's Wednesday afternoon. What's one city I can go to this weekend to start building immediate momentum, the 2% difference? And so I said Boston. I thought Boston was the closest city to us that we hadn't both been to, and so I said, Nina, this weekend we go to Boston. It's Wednesday. On Friday, after your work, I'm going to pick you up and we're going to go to Boston. And then I brought Danny and his business partner at the time, my camera guys, to help us film it. That was the start, immediate action. So here's what happens when you do that. When you go up to the 2% difference, you go idea to action, idea to action, idea to action. You start training it, you start burning into your nervous system, you start building momentum, and then, this is the magic thing, your head starts working with your heart. Your head, instead of talking you down from doing the crazy thing, starts thinking, holy crap, we committed to this. Now I have to figure out a way to do it. Now I'm going to Boston. Now I got to figure out what am I going to do in Boston? Who am I going to connect with in Boston? Where are we going to stay in Boston? How are we going to get to Boston? What's our itinerary going to look like in Boston, right? Your head now starts working with you alongside your crazy vision instead of the other way around. Because often you make a decision feeling bold, amazing, unstoppable, and then your head talks you down from it. So I believe that the decisions that you make when you're feeling bold are actually the right ones for you. The decisions that you make when you're feeling bold, unstoppable, crazy, confident, you decide you're going to do something, those are actually the right ones for you. And then your head gets to work and telling you why you can't do it. 99% of the rest of your life is your head telling you that you can't do it, that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you're not capable enough, that you don't have the skills, beliefs, mindset, the resources to be able to do it. Right? That's the problem. So you make a decision, and then the immediate thing you have to do is do the 2% difference. Take immediate action on that thing. Don't go home and plan. Don't plan to 100%. The 2% difference, immediate action, train yourself. Idea, action, idea, action, idea, action. Don't judge the idea. Don't think it's crazy or too big or you have to go research it. Don't. Just act on it right now.
Rule number 2, start small.
Entrepreneurs don't have to be giant risk takers. Some entrepreneurs have to go all in. It's the only way they can operate. Burn the boats, have no plan B, have no escape, no parachute, all in. One-way trip. It's the only way they operate. But there's tons of successful entrepreneurs who win by building sustained momentum, by taking small, successful risks over and over again, but never putting it all on the line. I love small starts. I love finding ways to get started on tons of different ideas and seeing what sticks and where my heart lies and following those through. But I'll never put in tons of money before putting in the effort and energy to see if I love it, to try to get results. So I look at YouTube as an example. It's 10 years of having this channel. It's wow, that's crazy. I started it just as an experiment. I had a successful website. I had 8 people on my team building up this new web business that I was a part of. And I just wanted to try YouTube. I wanted to make visual content. I love learning from successful people. And so I wanted to tell those stories in a visual way. That plus people kept asking me questions. I'd sold my company. And so they asked me questions. Evan, how do I do this? How do I do that? Great. So I would make videos answering questions for people. But I did it all myself, right? Like I got some friends to volunteer to help me make some of my early videos. And then everything was me. I had money. I sold my business. I had a team working on my website. But I was doing this little skunk works project all by myself. Just to go, just make it happen, just to see if I like it, see if I can build some momentum. And so I researched and I edited and I filmed, I did everything. And as it started then to make some money, then I could invest that money back into my business. And then it slowly built up to the point where we're at right now. So that's my process. And I love that way, but you might be Mark Cuban. You might have to go all in. I'm gonna give you the 3-step process that anybody can follow to see how much risk you should take and how to minimize your downside. Step 1 is understand your personality type. Are you like the Mark Cuban? Are you like me? Are you like somebody else? Do you have to go all in? If you have a plan B, will you suffocate? If you had to quit smoking, would you go cold turkey? Or could you use Nicorette? If you wanna start a business, can it work for you to go all in and you have to quit your job and you have to have no way out and you have to, throw garbage all over your boss's office so there's no way back? It's the only way. Or can you start by moonlighting? Can you start by working on the side? Can you start by working on your lunch hour and after hour shifts? Like, can you start? Would you be consistent? So it's understanding your personality type. I think the biggest mistake that people make is they prescribe advice, say this is the only way to do it. It's a personality question. If you need to go all in, then go all in. But if you can do it in these small chunks, going all in will be the worst advice for you. Do it in the small, sustained chunks. Just make sure you keep the momentum. Number 2 is use what I call the 2% difference. The 2% difference is as soon as you get an idea, you take action. Idea to action, idea to action, idea to action right away. You do it. You get an idea, trust that idea comes from somewhere and you do it. Just go off and do it. But it's not going to be perfect. What we normally do is we plan, right? We plan to get to 100%. We have this idea. What's the perfect plan to get it completed 100% done? Don't do that. Because you use all that energy when you're feeling bold and confident into planning. That's silly. You're going to lose because you're going to wake up tomorrow a different person. The energy will be gone. That momentum, that confidence, that boldness will be gone. You use that boldness into action. As soon as you get an idea, you do something, and it won't be perfect. The idea won't be perfectly executed. I had a guy in my Las Vegas event who was his birthday, and so I had him come in and juggle. He said he'd like to juggle soccer balls, where you try to keep the ball in the air for a certain amount of time. Great. I went to go try to find a soccer ball 15 minutes before my event's gonna start. Couldn't find one, but I found the golf ball and I found the stuffed pig. I said, here you go juggle. He tried the golf ball, it was too hard on his knee. He did the pig and he got 7 rounds in the air. Great. Because if he waited to get a soccer ball, it would have never happened. That's the problem. Your plans aren't happening because there's not enough action being taken because you want it to be perfect. Don't worry about that. Use the 2% difference. As soon as you get an idea, you do something about it ASAP, right now. Take action, knowing that it won't be perfect. And number 3 is invest your time, not your money. At the beginning, put your time in. Especially when you don't have a lot of money. Don't go broke. Don't have to drain all your bank accounts to test something out. Any project, any idea that you have can be started on a smaller scale. I had a woman in my event here in Chicago who wanted to open up a school teaching kids how to do meditation. I said, what are you doing now? I'm a nanny. But to start the school, I need X number of dollars. Like, it's a lot. Like, don't do that. You're gonna make so many mistakes and go bankrupt because you don't know what you're doing yet. If you're a nanny, great. You're already working with kids and parents. Now offer this as an extra service. Say, hey, would you mind if I tried this with your son, with your daughter, with Jill? I think teaching her some meditation might help her in school. I'll do it for free at the beginning just to see. And then you start experimenting with it, see if you love it, see if you have a technique that works, you see if they're getting results in school because of working with you. Now you're not just a nanny, now you're teaching meditation. Now you start getting word of mouth and referrals, you start building up a business, you get known as this person who teaches kids meditation and then they get results in school. You start making more money, more money, more money. Then you can open up maybe something in your basement where kids come over and they practice meditation. You have a class, or you're renting out rooms at the YMCA or local library. And then you work your way up to having your own center. Like, that's the smart way to do it. Because if you take out $1 million loan and bankrupt yourself to make this thing happen, you're gonna actually go bankrupt because you don't know what you're doing yet. And so invest your time, your energy, your heart, your passion, your enthusiasm, but not your money, until you start making money. I hate spending money until I'm making money.
Rule number 3, ask for help.
Not asking for help is selfish. You might think that trying to do everything yourself is selfless, that it's wrong to ask for help and noble to do everything yourself. But you love helping people. You love helping others. Remember that joy you feel when you help somebody and brought a smile to their face knowing you made their week? By you not asking for help, you're cheating people of that opportunity to bring a smile to their face. Stop being selfish and start asking for help. I came up with this idea when I was at a video game cafe. So here's what happened. I was on a call with one of my big customers at the time, and I was in Los Angeles, and we're doing a Google Live, streaming to my YouTube channel, lots of people watching. YouTube Live, I'm interviewing him, and then the internet goes down. Like, what happened? The power went out across all of Los Angeles. The power goes out and it's down. I got nothing. The stream is still live, but I'm not there anymore. I left my client live on the stream, and he's not sure what happens. He just sees my camera go down, and then he keeps going by himself for another 15, 20 minutes, waiting for me to come back. And he's embarrassed, and it's awkward, and he doesn't know what he's doing because the host who has the audience there is now gone. And then eventually he just leaves because he said, well, I don't know where Evan is, but thank you guys for watching. And it put him in a really difficult situation. I felt terrible. I went back to watching the live stream after, like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Now, it's out of my control. The internet goes down in Los Angeles. What am I supposed to do? There's no power anywhere. So as soon as the power gets back up, I message my client and say, hey man, I'm really sorry about that. Let's reschedule it. Let's do it again when I'm back home in Toronto, where I know I have stable internet, and I want to do it again for free, no extra cost. Even though we had almost finished the live stream together, we're gonna do a whole other one for free just because I want to make this right for you. Great. So we come back to Toronto. It's like a week or two later. And my internet is pretty rock solid in my home office. I've never had an internet issue really happen while I was doing a live stream, but I wanted to make extra sure that this time nothing happened, because if something happened the second time, it would not be a good thing. So I asked my friend Jay Rise, and I said, Jay Rise, I need a place that has rock solid internet that I'm gonna do this live stream and nothing can go wrong. And he said, I got a place, it's an internet cafe that I go to. I'll introduce you to the owner. I know him, and you could do it there. Like, thank you so much. So we go there. I'm there an hour early. I'm setting up. I'm talking to the owner. I'm testing the gear, my microphone, the headset, all of it, the camera, testing all of it, just to make sure that everything is working smoothly. I'm nervous because the last time it failed on us. My client comes on. We go live for half an hour, I don't remember, and it was smooth, perfect, no issues, crisp, amazing internet, blazing fast speeds. Great time with the audience, and we delivered an awesome product. Sigh of relief, right? I'm so pumped. I go talk to the owner and say, dude, thank you, man. It was perfect. No complaints, no problems. Thank you so much. How much do I owe you? And he said, well, you were on the computer for about an hour and a half, and Jay Raj was on the computer for about an hour and a half, but I'll just bundle it together. So I forget what he told me. It was like $5 or $7 or $10 or something. Like, are you kidding me? I would have paid $1,000. I would have paid a lot of money just to make sure that this went smoothly, because it's the relationship with my client at the time, right? I said, okay, well, great. Here's the $7 that you wanted. Awesome. Let me buy some stuff from behind the counter. Let me buy some snacks from my friend Jay Raz. Jay Raz was hungry. He needed to eat. So like, here's $20, $25. Let me just buy out a whole bunch of your snacks and give it to him. He's like, no, you don't have to do that, man. Don't worry about it. Like, no, I want to do it. Let me buy the snack. No, don't worry about it. The owner thought that he was doing a good thing. The owner thought that he was being selfless, that, hey, don't worry, but you don't have to do it. That just paying for the internet was enough for him. But he was actually being selfish. In that moment, he was being selfish because he cheated me of the opportunity of, one, saying thank you. I wanted to pay more. I want to pay more. You're cheating me of the opportunity to do it, and you're cheating me of the opportunity to help my friend J-Rise and give him some food because he was hungry, so we had to go somewhere else. You need to be willing to bring other people in. You need to be willing to ask for help. Yes, you don't want to waste your time. Yes, you want to be respectful. Yes, but people love helping others. We are built to serve. You want to help other people. That joy that you feel when you help somebody out, allow it to come into other people's hearts too. And it only comes when you open up and you ask for help and you say, hey, I'm really struggling with this thing right now. And I could really use some help. And people may not be willing to do it. They may not have the time to do it. Don't be too pushy and don't be too overwhelming. But don't be selfish at the same time too. So now how do you do it? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process on how to ask for help and stop being selfish. Step number 1 is, what are you struggling with right now? What are you struggling with right now? Well, where do you need help in your business? Listen, entrepreneurship is rough, right? You're wearing all the hats. What do you need the most help with now? Whether it's strategy, whether it's a new skill set you need to learn, whether it's just taking off some of the operational stuff that you have to do in your business, right? The day-to-day, the grind is just overwhelmed with project work. What do you need help with? Number 2, who's an expert at that thing? Who do you know? Who have you helped before? Who's in your circle? Who is an expert at that thing? Who, by them spending a little bit of time with you, could make a really big impact on your business. Make that list. And step number 3 is reach out to them with love, appreciation, and 0 expectations. Explain the story. Explain how much this would mean to you. Explain why you're struggling and how you want to use this thing to get to the next level in your business, in your career, in your mission, in your vision, and then how they could be an important part of it. With love, but 0 expectations. If they say they're busy, don't be hurt by it. If they say, sorry, I can't help, that's okay. But reach out. Don't take the yes away from them. The problem when you don't reach out is you're saying no for them. When you don't reach out, you're saying no for them. And a lot of people would want to say yes to you.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for you to shift that habit forward. So I've designed a special free program to help you get more self-belief for every day. For 254 days, I will send you an email to an unlisted video that, if you watch it, will shift your confidence forward. The links to join for free are in the description below. It's got to be your life's work. If you only had to write one book ever in your life, this is it, and it's got to be amazing.
You can use rejection as fuel to help you go off and do something bigger and motivation to, I'm going to prove them wrong.
Surround yourself with greatness. If you want to be more confident, you need to surround yourself with things that make you feel confident.
Rule number 4, don't stay in mediocrity.
If you are the most ambitious person that you know, you are going to play small for life. Look around at your friends, your family, the people that you hang out with. What do they want out of life? If you're the one always pushing them and no one's pushing you, guess what happens? You don't get the push that you need and you stay in mediocrity, being the best in a group of unambitious people. So I just came back from an event in Florida that I was doing a keynote at, and at the end, I challenged an entrepreneur who showed up to make some changes on his YouTube channel. We met over dinner, I helped him with his YouTube channel, it was him and his business partner sitting there, and I said, by tomorrow, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go in and make sure you have these things updated. And he said, yes, I'll do it. I said, it's important to do it by tomorrow because I'm still here. I'm still here in the morning. If you need anything, you can ask me face to face while I'm still here before I fly home to Toronto. Yes, I'll do it. Next morning comes around. We show up in a meeting. I got a meetup happening. We got, I don't know, 30 people who showed up to meet with me. And I see him out of the corner of my eye sitting at the back of the room. And I say, hey, did you do the thing that I told you to do? And he said, no, I didn't do it. I said, why? What happened? Said, well, we were doing lots of other stuff. It's been a full day. You know, we had this entire day of speaking and meeting people, and then so much information. Went home, we were doing all this kind of work. Okay, great, but what about the promise that you made to me to do it? And then his business partner chimes in and said, you know, it's actually my fault. I told him, Evan's probably not gonna notice. He's not gonna remember. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it when we all fly back home. And so I told him, don't let your business partner's low standards prevent you from moving forward on the things that you said you were gonna do. Staying committed to the thing that you say you're gonna do, your word to yourself, is the whole game. Forget about what you just say to other people. What do you do for yourself? Because we're often looking for no's. We're often looking for somebody else to give us a break. Right? He's been working hard, and he is. And I know him, and I know his business partner, and these guys are not slackers. They're not slackers. And I was poking a little bit at his business partner, saying his low expectations, his low standards. But in this situation, it was true. The entrepreneur that I was speaking to said he was gonna do this thing by tomorrow morning. Before he came and went to my event, he would do it. And his business partner says he's not gonna remember. Don't worry, we've worked too hard already. Let it go. We'll do it when we get home. And they would do it when they got home. I know they would. He's looking for the reason not to do it. When you say you want to hit the gym, when you say you want to hit these business goals, when you say you want to have this outcome and be proud of the effort that you put in every day, when you say that you're going to do something, there will be moments where you want to let yourself off the hook, where you say, I work so hard, or I'm so tired, or I deserve a break, right? This is the language you use to yourself. And so when that happens, you're looking for affirmations from the people around you. And if you are the most ambitious person in your friend group, if you are the most ambitious person, what's going to happen? They're going to say, you already work so hard anyway. What are you talking about? Yes, of course. Give yourself the break. And it's the exact answer that you're looking for, because you want to give yourself a break. Now, if you're proud of your effort, maybe you should take a break. But it's not because somebody with lower standards gave you the pass. It's because you're proud of the effort that you put in. And so this is where it gets really dangerous. When you are the most successful, the most ambitious person from the people around you, they're always going to give you a reason to play smaller. You can't accept it. You have to push through. You need to change your environment. I'm going to give you 3 ways to do it. Step number 1 is collect good people. I like to say I'm in the business of collecting good people. You want to collect good people. Somebody that you meet on the street, at an event, online, collect them. Find ways to stay in touch. Follow them on Instagram and on YouTube and comment on their stuff. Tell them, sometimes it gets super awkward. I've told people, I really like you. I really love your style. I really like everything you're doing. I just want to stay in touch. And maybe that means you're just DMing them when you have questions. Maybe that means you're setting something formal up, or you're having a coffee meeting every month to connect. Maybe that means you're asking them, business questions whenever you have them. There's a lot of different ways that the relationship can take shape. And this is where a lot of people fall down, is you expect to have the answer in your head, and when you don't know what the relationship will look like, you don't go for it, because you don't know what to present. You don't know what to pitch. You don't know what to say. And so you say nothing. And that's the worst case scenario. Don't do that. Tell somebody, I love your vibe. I love the energy. How do we stay in touch? And then whatever flows, flows. You have to be in the business of collecting good people. You want good people around you, not just for your team, but people who are your peers, people who can be your mentors. Because when you get that situation, when you say, I promised myself that I would do this tomorrow, I promised myself that before tomorrow morning this would happen, the people around you are saying, dude, what are you doing? Let's go. Not, you work so hard, you deserve a break. No, let's go. You promised yourself you would do it. Come on. They pull you up to be the best version of you. Step number 2 is get aspirational mentors. I love being around people who've done a lot more than me. This is actually my default. I don't really have people in my life who push me to be better. I don't have too many people around me say, Evan, you really suck at this. Let's go. Get better, get better, get better. I get most of mine from aspirational mentors, from Steve Jobs and A.P. Giannini and Howard Schultz and Kanye West, the videos that I put up every single day on my channel. So I had a buddy of mine say, I really love it when you do a David Goggins video. Or another one yesterday said, I really love it when you do Kobe Bryant. Great, if you know that Kobe inspires you or David inspires you, then surround yourself with him, right? Watch their YouTube videos, watch their interviews, have a Google alert that comes at any time it says Kobe Bryant interview or David Goggins' interview, you get a notification. Listen to their podcast if they have one. Read their book. Listen to their audios. Right? As much as possible, be around that, because the more you are around that, they're training you to think like they think. They're pulling you up to their level, even if you never meet them. That's what I try to do with my channel every day, is I need it selfishly for myself. There's people that I surround myself with daily. I want Elon Musk and Steve Jobs and Oprah Winfrey and these people pulling me up to make me better. So get yourself some aspirational mentors, the people that you look up to and say, man, I wish I could be like them. You can. You just have to think like them. And the way to think like them and act like them and have the mindset of them is to be around them more often. And step number 3 is play bigger triggers. I like having triggers in my environment that force me to remind myself of who I am, of who I would like to be, of what I'm becoming. So you can have the greatest day of all time. Maybe you watch this video and you're fired up, you get motivated, you say, yes, I'm gonna go and do some work. Awesome. You're gonna wake up tomorrow and be the person who you used to be again. You wake up tomorrow and it's a new day. Every day is a new day. And so you might remember to do something, but chances are you may not. And so that's why having play bigger triggers in your environment, you set them up once and it reminds you to go off and play a bigger game. So my office, there's a bunch of play bigger triggers here, right? There's mentors of mine, including my parents, who are looking at me every time I walk into here. There's the awards down here, which remind me of what I do, that 1 million people have subscribe to my channel. Now we're at 2. It's a crazy number that when I'm coming to make a video, lots of people are watching it. I have my neck braces down there to remind myself of when I broke my neck and kept going on my tour. I've got my Doritos here to remind myself that I'm stronger than these Doritos. Damn the Doritos. These things are stronger than me? No, all I want to do is eat this bag every single day. And standing here is a reminder of how awesome I am. At least that's what I'm telling myself, right? They're all play bigger triggers. So what's in your physical environment? What's the background on your cell phone? What's the background on your desktop? How can you set up your environment once, just with some thoughtful thinking once, that then every time you walk into it, it lifts you up?
Rule number 5, change your environment.
I think everyone is born an optimist, and then your environment sucks the soul out of most people. When you're a baby, you don't stress out about how you look, what you're wearing, or how you're smelling. When you're a kid, you don't hate your life and complain about the world. If there's negativity in your head, it was put there by someone. And if you want to change it, you need to change your environment. So I've had the good pleasure of seeing one of my friends, Mark Drager, a great friend of the channel, been involved with the channel for a number of years, become more optimistic, become more positive. And he was wondering, could I even do it? Is it possible? He was a guy who was naturally pessimistic. He had a lot of stuff happen to him, like we all have. A lot of situations, a lot of circumstances that made him see the negative of what's happening, of be pessimistic, of not being the typical optimistic, everything's gonna work out great entrepreneur. And so what changed? Over the past 12 months, he's made a significant investment in himself. I've been hanging around with him a lot more. We've co-hosted a podcast together. He's hanging around me, my content, Gary Vee's content, Tom Bilyeu's content more. He's been to Tony Robbins' seminar twice in the past year, brought his team with him, and he's slowly inching towards more optimism, more positivity, that more things are possible. Because of the negative upbringing that he had, it takes a lot of unwiring. It takes a lot of shifting your focus. It takes a lot of, with purpose, with intent, changing your environment, changing the people you hang out with, changing the physical environment that you're in to make a change. I went to Mark's office and he's moving his office. He's creating his own office. He's putting a picture on the wall of himself and then what he wants to be as positive inspiration every day. He's looking at what kind of colors and what kind of furnishings and what kind of decor can I have in my office to make me feel bold, to make me feel alive every single day. It's possible. And I think that's the starting point for a lot of people. It's possible to change your outlook. It's possible to become more optimistic. That negativity that was planted in your head was put there by somebody else who hates their life. You were not born to wake up and hate your life. You were not born to wake up and think that it's just negativity all around the world. You're not born to wake up and be a pessimist. You're not. It was put there by somebody else who hated their life. And we need to eject that person. We need to unwire the years or decades of training. And in that void, you replace it with the thing that you want. If you want more optimism, you surround yourself with the most optimistic people you can find. In person, on your team, in video format, in the books you read, in the clubs you're hanging out with, you first limit access from the negative people Limit exposure. You may not be able to completely wipe them out. Like maybe they're your parents. But you can limit exposure. You can limit access, either with time or just topics that you're covering. And then inject more positivity and optimism to the people, books, resources, environment that you have around you. Now, I have a 3-step process for you to follow. I think you're gonna enjoy it. I hope it helps. Step 1 is create a 254. So the 254 series I made, we've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them, where every day for the next 254 days, I send you a video on a different topic. So it could be about self-love, it could be about confidence, it could be about writer's wisdom, it could be about Black excellence, girl boss. We have a whole bunch of different series that are geared towards helping you feel more confident in a certain area of life. So if you want to have more self-love, then every day for 254 days, I send you a free video. I've talked about it a bunch on this channel. There's links in the description. You can go check it out. It's absolutely free. But whether it's coming from me or you find your own source, you need to create your own 254. You need to create your own thing that every day you're consuming that slowly starts to shift your perspective on things, that slowly makes you feel like this is actually possible. I made my channel selfishly for me. I wanted to be around Elon Musk and Tony Robbins and Oprah on a daily basis and get their messages in my head to make me feel like more is possible, that this is not my final resting place. And then I share it with you guys, and thankfully you like it too. So you need to create your own version of that. I made my channel for me. I made the 254s for you. Maybe I haven't picked the right one. My goal is to have 1,000 254s. Now, why 254? Because it takes 18 to 254 days of successive action for a habit to form. The average is 66 days. So if you're trying to start a new habit, it takes an average of 66 days for you to form it. The fastest case is 18 days, and the slowest, the worst case is 254 days. So I made the 254 series because even if you are the slowest learner, the slowest human alive, the most stubborn person, I'm gonna be there with you every step of the way for 254 days. So whatever the habit is you want to build, if it's optimism, then surround yourself with something, some resource, some information, some video, some book. Every day you're consuming micro-dosing. Every single day you will become it. Step number 2 is collect good people. I have this saying where I love collecting good people. I love collecting people who make me feel more energetic, positive, happy, belief. When you find somebody like that, collect them, hold on to them, even if you don't know how it's going to work out yet. I was driving through the desert thinking about my buddy Mark, and I thought we should do a podcast together. I don't know why I thought that. It just came to me. I don't consume a single podcast. But I thought, you know what? I like Mark. I like Mark's energy. It'd be fun to do something together. He loves podcasts. Why don't we do a podcast together? And he said yes. And ever since then, that night we made our first podcast while I was on the road. And ever since then, every week we've done a new podcast. You can go check it out. It's called the Something Approved Podcast. It comes out at least once a week. Collect good people. Think about the people in your life right now who make you feel good about yourself, who make you feel more belief in yourself, who make you feel more confident, more optimistic, more positive. Who are those people? And then try to find a way to spend more time with them. Whether it's a weekly coffee you're hanging out, whether it's an actual project you can work on together, try to find those people that make you feel like you come alive. There's already a few. There's probably not enough in your life right now, but there may be 1 or 2 or 3. Trying to spend more time with them, and then keep your radar open, your spidey senses tingling for people that you meet that make you feel great, and try to collect them and do work together. And number 3 is damn the Doritos. Damn the Doritos. Why do I have this here? People keep leaving comments. When are you gonna eat the Doritos? I'm not gonna eat the Doritos. The whole idea of having this Dorito, they are not a sponsor of the channel. The whole idea of having the Doritos here is because I love Doritos. I wanna eat these things every single day. I want to eat this bag every single day. Even just talking about it, my mouth is watering so much. So we went to Costco and I bought a giant bag of Doritos, and this is where I'm working. This is where I work all day long. My computer's right here. This is how I'm working normally. Right here, there's Steve Jobs, and then there's the giant bag of Doritos right here, kind of staring me down every day. And what this is a reminder. It's a reminder that I'm stronger than the Doritos. Because damn the Doritos. Because the Doritos aren't going to win. The Doritos aren't going to beat me. And so my ultimate goal for you in changing your environment is, yes, we want to inject more. We want to create a 254 for ourselves. We want to change our physical environment. We want to collect good people and be around them. But my ultimate goal is also that when you are around negativity, when you're around something that can drag you down, that you can still be in the same room and it doesn't drag you down. This is proof to myself every day how awesome I am. At least that's the story that I'm telling myself, right? I'm not going to eat those Doritos today. I'm not gonna eat those Doritos today. I'm stronger than the Doritos. Damn the Doritos. my ultimate goal for you would be when you're around someone who is negative, when you're around a toxic environment, when you can't change something, this is your chance to show yourself what you're made of. That you are now better, you've grown, you're a different human being, you can handle being around it. I think that's ultimately where your self-confidence comes from, the ability to do difficult things. And so steps 1 and 2 are bring in more positivity. And if you need to eliminate some of the negativity, awesome, I love it. Cut off exposure, cut off access, and bring in more positivity every day. And then get to the point where there's so much optimism, belief, vitamin C injected into you that if somebody comes to you with their negativity and they sneeze on you, you're not catching a cold because you've done the work. And if anything, you're going to create a gravitational pull that makes them feel more happy, more optimistic, more positive. If I'm hanging around a negative person, if I'm around a negative person every day, they will become more positive. It's just going to happen. My gravitational force is so big around belief. It's my one word. You're not going to get me to go anti-belief. It just won't happen. I just believe in you so much. I'm going to suck you in to belief. You will love your life more. You will do greater things just by being around me every day. And I think that's what I want for you as well. It's not about bragging about myself. It's you. I want you to have that same impact. That then you can hang around the negative people. You can be close to them. And in that being close, you're not going to go negative. You're going to force them to come more positive.
Rule number 6, ignore what others think.
If you live your life based off the opinions of other people, you will never do anything great. Take a look at who you're worried about. People who are not happy with their life. People who never went and took their shot. People who spend their life complaining instead of trying to change something. Is that who you want to be so worried about, what they think about your decisions? If anything, you want to do the exact opposite of what they're telling you to do. You don't want their life. So stop living your life by their rules. So I had an amazing one-on-one with an entrepreneur yesterday at my Q&A session here in Toronto that I do weekly. And I feel for her. She's such a talented, amazing, gifted entrepreneur. And we talked about your purpose coming from your pain. And she went through some massive pain that guided her to this success right now and on her path to personal development. But she's afraid to share what happened. And she said, maybe in a year or two, like give me a year to work on it and maybe I'll share it. Because she's afraid of what people will think. She's afraid that if it doesn't work out, that she may not be able to get another job. She's afraid of all these things that people might say about her if they found out the truth. The problem is that's your path. I don't care about where you're at right now. I need to know where you've come from. I need to know that you look like me. I need to know that your story is like mine. And so by living in the shadows and being afraid to tell the truth, what you're doing is 1, not letting people connect to you as a real person, right? This fake, perfect version of you isn't something that people can connect to. 2, you make it so that whatever you went through, you're telling yourself that it's shameful, and you're telling other people that it's shameful too. But if you come out and talk about what happened, then the people who feel ashamed about it, they now can come out and say, I'm not the only one. This happens to other people too. I'm a little bit more normal. And 3, if you want to build a business, if you want to create a YouTube channel, if you want to have a podcast, you want to be an author, you want to write a book, that's the thing that's going to actually help take you off. That's the thing. There was a great video that I told her about a woman who gained 70 pounds from having a child. So she's pregnant, she gained 70 pounds and she had a 10-pound baby, and now she had 60 pounds of extra fat on her, right? 60 pounds. So that's a lot. And so she's trying to lose it and she's working out and she's eating healthy, and she finally gets down to having 6-pack abs and looking great. And then somebody noticed that when she bent over, that they could see the flaps of skin. When she stood up, it was all 6-pack, but when she bent over, there was flaps of skin. And what most people would have done is deleted that video, pretend like it didn't exist, not talk about that comments, right? Only show the perfect version. Look how much weight I lost. But she did something different. Instead, she said, yeah, that's my body now. That's what happens when you gain 70 pounds in pregnancy and pump out a 10-pound baby. And that became a rallying cry. That one moment of vulnerability, of saying, hey, I'm still not perfect. Like, look at this saggy skin that I still have. That's what brought people to her. Now she's not just another mom who lost weight and did this workout plan and meal plan, right? That connection was real. And now she's built $1 million plus business from selling e-courses and her recipes and everything else that she goes through. That's the thing. This is your competitive advantage. Your purpose, your pain, your story is your competitive advantage. I do not want to learn from you until I know that you've been through what I'm going through. I can't relate to that story, right? I can't tell that story. I can't tell a mom who gained 70 pounds how to lose weight. That's not my story. I can't relate to it. But helping entrepreneurs, I can, because I struggled and I suffered and I was making $300 a month and I was eating the same bean salad lunch every day and I celebrated with only McDonald's French fries because I couldn't afford to buy it. All of it. I struggle with fear and embarrassment and shame. All of it. I know what it's like. I've been through that. And why I do what I do now is because I want to try to make the path a little bit easier for the next generation of entrepreneurs, for you. I want you to feel like you're not alone. I want you to feel like there's a place you can come to with a beautiful community, a Believe Nation, where we're supporting each other. And there's content every single day across multiple channels that you can go and digest and dive into and hopefully make your path just a little bit easier. Because I wish I had this when I was getting started, when I was a 19-year-old entrepreneur who was insecure and ashamed and embarrassed and not willing to talk to anybody about the problems I was going through. Right? That's the thing that will connect people to you. But if you're so afraid of what people's judgments are going to be, you're never going to get started. I believe humans are built to serve. You're built to serve. You want to help other people. It's hardwired into us. Studies show that the impact of serving other people has the same effect on your brain as food and sex. It's hardwired into you. You want to help other people. And at the same time, you're afraid of judgment. So how do you help other people if you're also afraid of judgment? It's having your foot on the gas and a brake at the same time. You know you're capable of more, but then you're just standing on the same spot. It's the worst. And so you have to let go of the opinions of other people. Some people may not like what you're doing. That's okay. That can't prevent you from service. That can't prevent you from fulfilling your mission. That can't prevent you from living the life you want, because you're going to be 95 years old, looking back on your life and regretting it, knowing you're capable of more, but never taking action. So how do you better deal with criticism? I'm going to give you a 3-step process. Step number 1 is have empathy. Have empathy. If you believe like I believe that humans are built to serve, right? We're built to serve. Then if somebody is being critical and negative when they are built to serve, how bad does their life have to be that is forcing them to act this way? How bad does somebody's life have to be to come to your YouTube video and leave a nasty comment, or to tell you to your face that you suck and your idea is never going to work? How bad does their life have to be? So have some empathy. Like, their life sucks. And they're lashing out at not just you, everybody around them. So have empathy. When you have empathy, it removes the sting out of the words. Right now, it doesn't touch you as much because, if anything, you feel sorry for that person. You don't have to say, hey, I feel so sorry for you. You don't need to go and make it worse or have it go on an ego trip. But just know inside, have empathy, feel sorry for them, and not let it hit you as hard when they're giving you some criticism about your idea or you. Number 2 is look for a gem. A lot of times in the criticism, there's actually something you can learn from. A lot of times when somebody criticizes their idea or leaves a nasty comment on YouTube, you might just write it off of that person's being a hater. Maybe they are, but there might be a kernel of truth. There might be some gem in there that you can use. I think a lot of people are too sensitive. I think if you can only take feedback when somebody sugarcoats it and packages it nicely and say, I love you, I love your channel, I love everything you're doing, I love all your ideas, but there's one little tiny thing that I think if you fix would really help. If that's the only way you can take feedback, you're gonna lose. You're gonna get nasty comments, and some of them are just pure haters and it's their own problem. But sometimes buried within that nasty comment is actually a kernel of truth. There's a gem in there for you. And so if you can remove the sting, right? Have empathy, remove the sting, then look at the comment and see, is there anything from this comment? Is there anything in this critique that I can actually learn to make my idea or my concept better? Look for the gem. And then number 3 is addressed to those who are dealing with their parents who might be your biggest critic. Understand that your parents are pilgrims. Your parents are pilgrims. Your parents come from a different era. If you're 20 years old right now, as an example, the opportunities available to you using this are things that your parents at 20 years old can't understand. The opportunities available to you right now are insane compared to what your parents had when they're at your same age. And so when they're saying, go get a safe job, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go be an accountant, go do something you can work at some job forever. That's actually their version of love for you, right? That's empathy. Empathy, step into their shoes. They love you. Chances are your parents love you. I hope. But chances are they do. And so they're trying to give you advice that they would have given themselves X number of years ago back when they were your age. They just don't understand what's available right now. A lot of times, a lot of the people who are critiquing you, criticizing you, it may be out of love. They just don't understand the path that you see. They don't understand the world that we're living in right now. They don't understand everything that can be created. And so have that empathy for them. Understand that that's where they're coming from. They love you. And again, removes the sting out of the words. And then you can see, how do you want to act? How do you want to react to these people around you that would make you feel proud? Whatever that is in your head, then go and do it.
Rule number 7, the last one before our very special bonus clip, have big dreams.
People aren't lazy. They just don't have dreams that inspire them. They default to thinking, I'm a lazy person. I don't have ambitions. I don't know what I want to do in life. I'm just a loser. No, you just don't have a dream that makes you want to go off and do something. And until you figure that out, you're going to be in this constant cycle of feeling like a loser. It's one of the most common questions that I get asked on my IG streams. I go live every single day on Instagram, at least right now while I'm on my tour. And every single day I get asked some variation of, Evan, I'm lazy. How do I get out of it? Evan, I'm procrastinating. How do I get out of it? One, you don't call yourself a lazy person. There's no such thing as a lazy person. If you are procrastinating or you're being lazy, right? You are being lazy doesn't mean that you are a lazy person. There's 2 reasons why you're doing it. There's 2 reasons why you are being lazy. 1, you don't have a dream that's big enough. You don't have something that inspires you. You don't want to get out of bed in the morning. If I was an accountant, I would be a really lazy accountant. I would hate my life. Not to knock accountants, it's just not for me. If I was a video editor, I would be lazy. I would hate my life. I don't want to be a video editor. I don't want to be an accountant. Actually, there's most things in the world that I don't want to be. And if you forced me to do that, I would be lazy. That's 95% of America. I think 95% of America wakes up and drives to a job that they hate. And then they're lazy there. But they have dreams, they have ambitions. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. You just have to find it. And so if you don't know what that thing is, then it's your duty to go off and explore. You test, you try, you see. You say yes to a lot of stuff. Like, this is the most important thing that you need to figure out in your life if you don't know what your dream is. You have to go off and try things. Just like you won't get married until you go on dates. You won't get married to an idea until you go on dates, until you try it, until you say yes. And the acid test is, did I like it? Do I want to go back? Does this fill me up? Did I enjoy the process of it? Can I see myself doing this and having fun? Because when you're having fun doing the work, that's when it will fill you up. That's when you won't be lazy. And there has been times in all your lives where you felt that, where you felt the joy, the energy, the ambition, the drive. And so you need to capture that and say yes and find what it is that your big dream is. The second reason why people are lazy is because you're afraid. You're afraid. You're afraid of actually doing the thing that you want to do. You know what your Michael Jordan level talent is. You know where your ET level talent is, but you're afraid to chase it down. You're afraid to take the stage. You're afraid to make that call. You're afraid to say, here's what I do. You're afraid to bet on yourself. You're afraid. So laziness or procrastination comes from not having a dream or having one and being afraid of it. Either way, the answer is action. If you don't know what your dream is, your answer is to go and take immediate action, to try out as many things as possible, to say yes, to try anything once, to find your dream. Or if your problem is you know your dream but you're afraid of it, then the answer is still action. You have to get up and do it, because otherwise you will live the rest of your life in regret, knowing that you could have done more, knowing that you lived your life doing things that you hated, knowing that you had this potential inside you and you never took a chance on yourself. You played small your entire life. You will regret it. You don't feel it on a day-to-day basis. You don't feel it from today to tomorrow to the next day to the next day. You just feel how crappy that day will be, but you don't feel it over decades, over a lifetime, looking back knowing that you could have done something great. And that's what I want for you. It's the #1 question that I get asked when people meet me on Instagram. I'm lazy, I'm procrastinating, how do I get out of it? And I want you to follow those 2 paths. Find your dream, and then believe in yourself to chase it down. It'll make all the difference in the world. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and just get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of actually following through on your goals. That's not good enough. No, not for you, Believe Nation. We gotta do something. But when you write it down and you create a specific plan of action for the next week, that number jumps to 91% chance of you following through. And when you commit to somebody else, like leaving a comment on this video, it jumps to 95%. You need to follow through on your goals. So what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your specific plan of action for the next week?
put it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you.
Self-improvement is the answer to whatever obstacle is staring you in the face right now. The only difference between you and greatness is the willingness to grow and improve. It's not talent, it's not smarts, it's the willingness to improve yourself. The difference between you and Tony Robbins is he has spent more time constantly improving himself than most people on the planet. Here's a guy who had multiple fathers growing up, had an abusive mother who at 17 he had to run away from home so he could become a janitor and never go to college. He then decided to be a success. He read 700 books in 7 years. He studied under mentors like Jim Rohn, and today he's the founder or owner of companies with over $6 billion in annual revenue. If Tony Robbins can go from being an abused janitor with no college education to being one of the most influential people in the world, why can't you? The difference is he made the investment to constantly improve himself, and you haven't yet at that level. So I look at my channel as an example, my YouTube channel, and I've learned so much over the past number of years in confidence, in growth, in abilities, in skills, by consuming the content, because I love the top 10 series and the Mentor Me series and the Espresso series. I make them for me and then I share them with you, and thankfully you guys like them too, and I can build a business off of it and keep pumping out more content. But it helps me. I've grown, I've learned. And one of the biggest moments that helped me realize how much I've learned is when I signed a 3-year deal with Sage. I was working with Stephen Kelly, who is the CEO, and every month we'd be on a call. We'd be doing a hangout on my YouTube channel, answering questions from people. And I was driving with my dad, and I remember him asking me, how do you get the confidence to be on a call with Stephen Kelly and be seen as his equal all the time? And he wasn't asking me to put me down. He was asking me in genuine awe of, he was so happy for me that I was playing a bigger game. And it dawned on me that he was right. The Evan of 5 years ago wouldn't have been able to do that. The Evan of 5 years ago would have felt less than. The Evan of 5 years ago would have said, there's no way I'm capable of doing that. And then when I'd signed the deal, I felt like, it's great. I love Stephen, he's amazing, but I feel like I'm hanging out with Oprah and Kanye and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and these super successful people, and they're infiltrating my brain on a daily basis, right? A daily basis. 3 videos every single day on this channel. And so bit by bit, it pulls me up. Now I've recognized I still have a long way to go. I still have so much more to learn. I still need to believe in myself even more. And every time I consume more content, it allows me to grow my comfort zone a little bit more. And the funny thing is, all of these moments are little tiny incremental parts of your growth. I couldn't point you to one point in my past where I said, that was the moment that I changed. That was the moment that I had more confidence. But as I studied every day, I could look back 3 months, 6 months, a year and say, wow, I've really changed. I've really grown. I've really learned a lot. But in the daily, from today to yesterday, I'd say I didn't grow at all. And so sometimes on your journeys, you're trying to learn and get better. You may feel like the growth is really slow on a daily basis, but if you keep going, you keep investing, you keep learning, you keep seeking out mentors, you keep trying to get better and improve. Not every day will be amazing, but if you try every day to get better and learn, I can guarantee you that in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, when you look back of the person you've become compared to what you are right now, there'll be a big change. And that's because you continue to invest in yourself. So I'm going to give you a 3-step process to how to create a customized program for you so that you can become world-class at the thing that you want to be world-class at. Step 1, decide what you want to be world-class at. You could be world-class at a lot of things with enough energy, effort, wisdom, pouring in to you, practice, repetition, you can be world-class at something. But what in your core, what is the thing that you need to be world-class at? What is the burning desire in you that you say, I want to be among the best in the world at what? Fill that in. What do you want to be world-class at? Number 2, immerse yourself in that environment. The fastest way to learn a language, the fastest way to learn Japanese is not from a textbook, it's not from going to classes, it's to go to Japan. You need to immerse yourself in the environment. Whatever the thing is that you want to be great at, the more you are around it, people who are doing it, people who are speaking it, people who are living it, the more it will rub off onto you and the faster it will rub off onto you. Now, it can be a physical environment, or it could also be from the content that you're consuming. I get it a lot from my own YouTube videos because I feel like I'm around Steve Jobs and Elon Musk and Oprah Winfrey.
every single day. And the more you immerse yourself in that environment, the more their mindset, the more their motivation, the more their confidence is gonna stick with you to help you go be world class at the thing that you wanna be great at. And then step number 3 is practice every single day. You need to practice every single day. It's not enough just to be around it. You need to practice. You got to do. You want to be world class at something, right? That requires daily dedication. The reason why I got better at making my content, my videos, is I've done 6,000 videos. 1,000 videos aren't even public on my channel. We've thrown away more videos than most people ever create on their channel. And it's not because I'm amazing. Go back. Like, I encourage you, go back and look at my first videos. I sucked. It was brutal. It's because I said I want to be great at this thing. And I surrounded myself with people who could help push me and I could learn from, and then I practice every single day. The reason why I pass people who I consider to be a lot better than me at this is because I put in more work. Because when people had a hard time finding time to make 1 video a week, I was doing 3 a day. And if you take that same approach, if you take that same mindset of I'm just gonna outwork everybody around me, I'm gonna outwork my competition, when they may have a hard time finding time to do that thing that they need to get better at once a week, and you're doing it 3 times a day, you will blow past people who are more naturally talented because you have put in the work to get good at your skill.
If you want to learn how to make money, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy it. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
What is your business model, Evan? How do you make money? This is it. This is my business model. I kick up as much noise in my industry. I get as much attention as possible in my industry, and then I find ways to monetize it.